There's nothing like starting the day with a cold, refreshing and nutritious glass of apple juice. Juice. Did you know Americans consume over 300 million gallons of apple juice every year? That massive amount comes from about 1.5 million tons of apples that are harvested, pressed and processed into this popular drink. But have you ever wondered why bottled apple juice is so clear and smooth while the juice you make at home is usually cloudy and full of pulp? Today, let's take a look inside a modern apple juice factory to understand what makes the difference when it comes to juicing. The Macintosh variety is often a top choice. It has a slightly tart flavor, a mild aroma, and is especially juicy, great for both fresh juice and fermented apple products. Interestingly, apples used for juicing don't always have to be picked from trees. Many are collected from the ground after they fall. That might sound surprising, but fallen apples aren't necessarily bad as long as they're not bruised, rotten, or unripe. They can still be used. Unripe apples usually have less sugar, taste more sour, and produce less juice. And here's something else about apples. So did you know that 90% of all apple juice produced each year actually comes from the harvest season in October? That's when apples are at their absolute ripest. At this point, specialized machines get to work. These are designed with two rotating rods that spin in opposite directions. Now these rods are soft enough and they spin just fast enough to shake apples off the trees without damaging them. As the machine moves through the orchard, apples fall, roll onto a platform, and are moved up a stepped conveyor belt before being dropped into a truck that's driving alongside. One of these machines can harvest up to 100 tons of apples in a single day. And it does this without any issues at all. And honestly, this is just one of many farms that together supply around 100,000 tons of apples each year to the factory. During the peak harvest season, large trucks full of apples arrive at the factory pretty much non-stop. On average, about 4 trucks every hour. Keeping the apples fresh and intact during transport is absolutely critical, since only high-quality apples move on to the juicing process. Once they arrive, the apples are unloaded into large holding bins, and sometimes the entire container has to be tilted just to get all the apples out. Each hopper can actually take in up to 200 tons of apples, and the fruit is never stored for more than 24 hours. From there, the process continues. The apples begin the cleaning process by floating upstream in water, which is actually opposite the direction of the conveyor belt. This clever setup helps trap leaves, twigs, and other debris on the belt and removes them from the batch. It's a really important step, especially since some apples come from the ground and need thorough cleaning. Any apples that are bruised, rotten, or just don't meet standards are taken out at this stage. To run this cleaning system, the factory uses about 90 tons of recycled water per day. After this initial check, the apples are sorted by size, color, ripeness, and overall quality, then move along a conveyor system to the next stage. Apples pass through an advanced inspection line, where any remaining bad ones are detected and removed. This is done using automatic scanners equipped with advanced sensor technology. The apples are lined up in rows and move steadily on roller belts. These rollers are designed to rotate each apple as it moves, allowing the scanners to inspect every surface from all angles and catch any defects. Thanks to this strict sorting process, only the best apples make it to the juicing stage after being carefully sorted. The qualified apples go through another round of washing to remove any remaining dirt, residue, and especially pesticide traces, which are commonly used to protect against pests during cultivation. This thorough cleaning step is, honestly, essential to ensure consumer safety. The apples are placed in tanks with a continuous flow of water, mixed with vinegar to improve cleaning effectiveness. They float gently in the cool water, moving slowly to allow for even and thorough washing. The water is kept cold because warm water can soften the apple's skin, which may lead to early oxidation, something that industrial processing tries to avoid. The apples are carried gently by the water into the factory, a process that takes about 30 minutes. During this time, high-pressure nozzles spray the apples to clean hard-to-reach areas, such as the stem, where dirt and bacteria often collect. To ensure the highest hygiene standards, the apples then pass through an ozone treatment. Ozone is a powerful oxidizing agent that kills bacteria, eliminates mold, and removes harmful microorganisms. Once washed and sanitized, the apples I move on to a brush conveyor, where soft rotating brushes wipe off any remaining water from the skin. Right after that, high-powered fans completely dry the apples, ensuring no water is left before the next stage of processing. This step helps remove excess moisture, as any leftover water could dilute the juice and affect the final taste and quality. Next in the process, whole apples are fed into an industrial grinder where they're crushed into small pieces. Right after grinding, a special enzyme is added. This is a key step that breaks down the fruit's cell structure to help extract juice more efficiently. The apple mash is then moved into maceration reservoirs, where it rests for about 60 to 90 minutes. This gives the enzymes time to soften the texture and prepare the mash for pressing. Once the maceration is complete, the mash is pumped into a high-capacity hydraulic press. Each press cycle can handle up to 9 tons of mash. Using a rotating mechanism and gradually increasing pressure, the press slowly compresses the mash to extract as much juice as possible. Inside the press, special filters catch the skins, seeds, and stems, ensuring the juice that comes out is as pure as possible. Under high pressure, the juice is extracted efficiently. After the first pressing, the leftover pulp still holds a good amount of juice. To make the most of it, the pulp goes through a second round of pressing. This time, it's passed through a series of rollers that squeeze out the remaining drops of juice. At the end of this stage, the apple juice has been almost fully extracted. However, it's still cloudy, containing suspended solids and a fair amount of foam. This is the juice's natural state right after pressing, and it needs further processing to become the clear juice typically seen in bottles. The dried apple pulp, once fully pressed, is taken out and reused as material for organic fertilizer. Rich in fiber and minerals, it becomes a valuable nutrient source for soil. After pressing, the apple juice goes through pasteurization to ensure food safety. First, it passes through a heat exchanger at 70 degrees Fahrenheit, then is quickly heated to 185 degrees Fahrenheit to kill any harmful microorganisms. Right after, it's cooled down to 122 degrees Fahrenheit to help preserve the natural flavor and nutritional value of the apples. This step is known as the holding phase. Next, the juice moves into a special spinning drum system designed to remove any remaining fruit solids. Using centrifugal force, the apple pulp is separated and collected. Interestingly, this thick pulp isn't discarded. It's used as a base for making apple jam. At this point, the juice is much clearer than before, but still not completely pure. To continue clarifying it, enzymes are added again to break down pectin, a natural gel-like substance in apples, making the next filtration step more effective. The juice then goes through. So, ultrafiltration uses a membrane system with tiny pores that capture even the smallest particles left in the liquid. This entire process actually happens inside a massive filtration pipeline system, which, believe it or not, stretches up to 2 miles. Each day, 288 filter membranes are replaced to maintain peak performance and hygiene. Once filtration is complete, the clear finished juice is transferred through pipes to these large refrigerated storage tanks, keeping it safe from contamination. Since apple juice is produced in October, it needs to be stored for year-round use. A portion of the juice is kept in this sterile storage facility until it's ready to be bottled. Each tank can hold up to 29,000 gallons of filtered apple juice. No preservatives are added before packaging the apple juice. Next, the juice goes through a homogenization process. In this step, the juice is passed through a special device that breaks down small particles and evenly mixes the entire liquid. This ensures that components like fiber, natural sugars, and flavor are consistently distributed in every drop. Once the juice reaches the ideal temperature, vitamin C is added to boost its nutritional value and help maintain its natural freshness. At this stage, additional flavors like strawberry or cinnamon can also be added, depending on the product line. This allows for a variety of options, from unsweetened pure apple juice to flavored versions. Throughout the production process, samples are taken at each stage to monitor quality. Each sample is checked for sweetness, color, aroma, and taste. The final product must meet specific standards, clear with a slight amber tint, not sour, and with a natural apple scent. Only batches that meet these requirements are approved for sale, ensuring a product that is both safe and enjoyable for consumers. Once the apple juice has been filtered and enriched with the necessary ingredients, it's pumped from chilled storage tanks into an automated packaging system. Here, advanced machines fill each small carton with a precise amount of juice, making sure every unit is consistent in both volume and quality. The packaging line operates at an impressive speed, up to 120 cartons per minute. After filling, 2 tiny streams of hot glue attach the straw to each pack, completing the product and making it ready to use. At the same time, another automated line handles bottle filling. Each minute, up to 150 bottles are filled with pasteurized juice and immediately sealed to prevent any contamination from bacteria or outside particles. This helps preserve freshness and maintain quality throughout the product's shelf life. Once sealed, bottles move through an automatic labeling machine, marking the final step before they're boxed and shipped to stores and supermarkets across the country. Each year, this factory processes between 60,000 and 100,000 tons of apples to produce millions of liters of juice for consumers. Thanks to strict production standards, modern equipment, and optimal storage methods, you can enjoy this juice anytime during the year. Looking back at the entire journey, from ripe apples in the orchard to a clear bottled juice, without the pulp or foam you'd get from homemade versions, it's easy to appreciate the care behind something that seems so simple. So, how about you? Do you prefer pure apple juice or one with added flavors like cinnamon or strawberry? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next food story. See you in the next video.